Hi. It's not a board meeting. You don't have to even be up there.
I don't want to sit in front like you guys because it's just like
Yeah. I'm not afraid to sit in front in church. Neither is he.
Larry, you forgot your gavel.
Yeah, I know.
Poor little thing.
I hope I don't need it.
Who knows?
I got an extra big one. I got from Tom. Covered with oil and horse trailer. Lost the title. Drew bought a horse trailer.
and lost the title.
It's worth $2,000. It's worth DMV said it's worth $6,000. We get a short because there's no record.
Is that thing?
Yeah. It's a steel one.
Yeah. Lake Michigan. And he said, the guy that said something like
Yeah.
Had a lovely flu shot today. Maybe that's it.
Did you get a free one? At a Walmart or what?
he is so proud of that thing.
What time's the meeting start? 7 or 7:30?
It's really big. It's not really big. The guy was well, I didn't get one everywhere. Hey, is anybody out there? Because there are people.
A while ago, I'm just all over. I've only got the original. You're supposed to have 2 more. Yeah, I don't know. Supposedly, if you had
Get it from Walmart. I think she wanted after Saturday.
We had to get that, I guess,
well, she said the gal at Walmart, she said she would go ready and see what it was on here.
saying it been done a few times.
What time's the meeting for?
7 o'clock. Must be waiting for somebody.
I've got one, but I think another one.
It says 7 p.m.
Ready? Secretary, you ready? Yep, I'm ready. She's ready. Okay, this meeting's called to order. Okay, compliance with the open meeting law. Yes, the door's open. Okay, roll call.
Why are you doing that? It's not a board meeting.
You know,
Not a board meeting. Okay. Okay, purpose of this meeting, it's going to be informational. People can ask, pardon? It's going to be informational first, and then there'll be a vote later. And pretty much describes on the ballot what it's about. I'll turn the meeting over to Miller, the airport man.
Good evening. Purpose of this hearing is to ask your approval for the town of Palmyra to accept ownership of approximately 3 acres of land located in the runway protection zone. I was going to introduce the other commission members, but none of them are here. But Chris Miller is the airport manager, and he's here. First of all, there will be no local taxpayer funds used in this process. The Bureau of Aeronautics will conduct the process to obtain the land. This includes surveying and mapping, an environmental impact and hazmat study, a title search, and negotiations with the landowner. All negotiations will be done by the Bureau of Aeronautics. The Bureau of Aeronautics can only pay fair market value. If the asking price is not met, the landowner can get their own appraisal paid for by the Bureau of Aeronautics. If the asking price is still not met, the airport may spend up to $3,000 per acre to make up the difference. The airport will be responsible for 5% of all costs as a sponsor fee, and we have approximately $5,000 in credit left over from the hangar project. So again, all the negotiations for the price will be done by the Bureau of Aeronautics. And if they can't come to agreement after the landowner has their own appraisal, then the airport can kick in up to $3,000 per acre, because it's important to get this, to acquire this land for the runway protection zone. The FAA encourages airports to own as much land in the runway protection zones as possible. And I have a memorandum here from the FAA. The airport sponsor is ultimately responsible for ensuring clear runway approach and departure surfaces. And the role of the Office of Airports is the ARP. A core part of the ARP's mission is to help maintain and enhance the safety, capacity, and efficiency of airport. ARP is responsible for working with the nation's federally obligated airports to ensure approach and departure surfaces are clear of obstacles, to ensure safety, and to optimize the full capacity of the runway without restrictions. The ARP has the authority under both Part 139 and through the grant assurances to hold an airport sponsor accountable for clearing their approach, departure surfaces whenever practicable. Both the FAA and the airport sponsor are expected to consider obstacle mitigation project as a high priority when discussing other funding requests. The FAA recommends sponsor to seek out opportunities for land acquisition, land exchanges, right of first refusal to purchase, agreements with property owners regarding land uses, or other means of establishing land use controls. In all cases, the FAA expects airport sponsors to actively seek feasible and prudent opportunities to eliminate, reduce, or mitigate risks associated with penetrations to the 20-to-1 surface anytime there is an ALP update. And a lot of these rules came in when that plane slid off the runway in Chicago a few years ago and killed a person on the freeway. That's why they want these runway protection zones protected. The purchase of this land will give the town access to the property that we call the Adams property, which is directly north of this land. We already own that property, and we're sort of landlocked right now. And the owners of this property would rather sell this land to the airport rather than have an easement on it. Are there any questions?
What's the asking price for the land?
I have no idea.
Well, you mentioned in one of the meetings that you had a negotiated price.
No, we didn't. There has been no negotiated price. The Galluns brought in some appraisals and they had some figures. Yes, there was nothing negotiated with anybody. The Bureau of Aeronautics will do all the negotiating.
I'd like to make a motion that we limit any comments or questions to 2 minutes, please.
Okay, we have a motion to limit comments to 2 minutes. In a second, all in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Okay, 2-minute limit.
Can I ask who seconded the motion?
I did.
Okay, thanks, Linda.
Do we know at this time if there's have to be an additional land purchases for these clearing zones, or will this take care of the issue?
This will take care of the issue. We already have a clear zone and navigation easement on the other end of the runway that protects that end, and this will protect the north end of the runway. No other questions? I make a motion that we take a vote on this proposal.
I second it.
All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Opposed?
Who seconded? Oh, Larry seconded. Take it on.
I thought the vote was over. I thought they already took the vote by show of hands.
Yeah. No. One side. By 10.
Did you have to tear off?
Or the pilots. And I don't think they really care. As long as it's I can't put that
Thank you.
Exciting. Turn mine on. Turn mine on. Oh, I thought I did it too. Oh, I did. I gave it to him. Oh, I'm wrong again.
Your date to be right.
Keep that. Just keep it.
I did.
They're coming in through every branch. And I think they also
We have the right results of the voting.
Give me one of those ballots. Okay, the ballot is, should the town of Palmyra purchase approximately 3 acres of land from John and Renee Gallun for the Palmyra Municipal Airport? Purchase of land handled by the Bureau of Aeronautics with the understanding that the airport could add up to $3,000 per acre. There were 51 yes, 1 no, and 2 abstain. So the motion passed. And just a note, the county said they're going to start working on Zion Road tomorrow.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
You got a second back there.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you all for coming.